We have spent nothing less than £20,000 on visa processing alone. See, now only you people now they get the job. Every black person where they apply, they don't give the person the job at all, not even try them. So at the time I was ready, we had an empty plot in Imo State where my parents currently live now. So that empty plot, my mom used it to kind of get the money I needed. But I know people that are still on their ILR. They don't want to apply for British citizenship. Why? Because it's so expensive.
So today I have here the beautiful Ness Lily. When most of you did not know what CBT was, when most of you did not know what CBT and IELTS was, she was already here practicing. And also, she's been here for a while. She's gone through all the process now. She even has her British passport, right?
Yeah.
Can you imagine? Like she's been here for. How the journey has been so far. It's always nice to meet people like Lily because they've been through the system. They know loads of things. They can advise us and all that. Yeah, she's not old, but she's a grandma in the game.
I'll take that.
We're happy to have you here, Lily.
Thank you. Thank you.
Please briefly tell us a bit about yourself for those who don't know you.
Okay. So my name is Lily. That's Lily. And I trained as a nurse in Nigeria. So I am Nigerian and I qualified in 2009. So at the time I qualified, I came to live in Port Harcourt. And if you are not from River State, you struggle to get a job in the government hospital. So we were all working in private hospitals and the pay was crap. A lot of us knew that if you don't have a midwifery certificate or say pediatric nursing or psychiatric nursing added to normal qualified band 5, not band 5 now. That this is the UK, not in Nigeria. Nigeria is just registered nurse. So if you don't have that extra qualification on top of what you have as a nurse, you don't really get paid much because you're working in a private hospital. So myself and a couple of my friends, we just went off and go do midwifery, and I completed my midwifery program in 2012. And I kind of worked for like a year plus and decided that this is not really working for me. I need to do something else with my time. And at that time, one of my younger colleagues in nursing was already studying in the UK. She was doing her BSc nursing. And this was now becoming a thing then, being a BSc nurse. So those of us that did nursing in a nursing school, like I trained in Catholic School of Nursing. It was diploma for 3 years. So those of us that trained in nursing school, it was looking as if our diploma wasn't going to be getting us anywhere. You needed to go to university, top up on what you have to be able to make some moves in the career. So I asked around in Nigeria then, and they said the course is going to be like 4 years or 5 years. And I mean, I've done nursing for 3 years. Why do I have to go back again to do another 5 years? I might as well just go and do medicine. So I started making inquiries about doing this program abroad. So the lady I knew who was already in the UK, she told me how she went about hers. It seemed like it was something that was straightforward. And I emailed the university. On that same day, I got a response. It was really, really straightforward how I can push in all the papers I needed, put everything together and apply. And I did. Within a month, I've gotten admission. They sent me my conditional offer letter first, because they send you conditional first, then everything goes through, then they send you unconditional offer letter. So I cleared all of the checks, got all my transcripts, paid 50% of my tuition at the time, and then went to the UK. So I applied for the school program in October of 2013. And by January the 29th of 2014, I was already in the UK to start the program.
How were you able to afford the 50%? Or wasn't expensive? Oh, you're from a rich home.
Okay, so the actual truth is that I paid my tuition in full. Okay, and to be able to do that at the time, I can't forget the school fees. It was £9,600 at the time we did our BSc. So this is something that my mom everybody has really been on my case. Why don't you want to go abroad? Why are you still in Port Harcourt? We are happy to support you. So I've been getting that support on the side, but then I haven't decided what I wanted to do. So at the time I was ready, we had an empty plot in Imo State where my parents currently live now. So that empty plot, my mom used it to kind of get the money I needed. But that was just for, you have to prove that you have a certain amount to look after yourself in the UK. So the money we got off that land was what was in my account for 28 days to prove that I can support myself here in the UK. But when it came to the school fees, my parents paid it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Your mom is extremely supportive. Like,
Yeah, she was a nurse midwife, and then she was lecturing as well. And I had my
okay.
sister who was working in the bank. So I can say I was really, really lucky when it came to having my school fees and everything sorted. Because my friend told me, the one that was in the UK, that they were all working to support themselves because you can do 20 hours per week. Now, this is the point where I say, although now it is very, very strict that you have to do that 20 hours per week. If you don't do that and you are exposed or anything like that, if you apply for any other type of visa, it will be denied. In fact, if they catch you, they will take away your admission and send you back to wherever you're coming from. But in 2014, when I came into the UK, now we were doing 70 hours per week. We were doing 60 hours per week. I mean, what is discussed in YouTube stays in the YouTube. If anybody asks me, I will deny.
It is alleged.
It was alleged. Exactly. So we were doing lots of hours. Like, girls were paying nearly 70% of their tuition from working. Okay. And we were all still doing our program in school. So during our first summer holiday, some people were going to Spain, going to Africa, going on holidays. We were working back to back. Literally, like, we were on the rota. These care home managers were begging us to please come and do some work. We have a lot of shifts. And we were working. So for my master's, I paid part of my tuition because I saved up a lot of money and I was able to sponsor myself partly for my master's. My mom still supported me halfway. And so that was how we started. And halfway through before I could finish my first program, the BSc, I'd already passed my IELTS. Because as soon as I came in, I started making inquiries. How can I stay back and work as a nurse? That wasn't why I came in. I came in for BSc, but I needed to find out what I can do to stay back and work as a nurse. As soon as I went on the NMC website, read all of what they required, printed it out and stuck it on the wall so that I can be looking at it all the time, I had to go and register myself for the IELTS. I didn't pass it the first time, and I really, really studied for it. And then when my result came back, that same day, as I was crying and looking at my result, I paid for another one and rebooked the test on that same day. And I had already started writing my dissertation, and I completely forgot that I had my IELTS coming up. You know, the way they will send you an email like 72 hours before the day? They sent me that email. I could not change the date. I could not cancel it. And I was unprepared. I went into our library the whole night. I tried to stay up, did as much as I could. I'm like, it is what it is. If I pass, that's good. If I don't pass, I'm happy to rewrite it again. And lo and behold, I passed it. I
Wow.
smashed it on that attempt. So that was where my journey started from. So by July of 2015, I'd already passed my CBT. I found that really straightforward, really easy. I passed that one on the first attempt. So as soon as I passed my CBT, I started applying to hospitals. And because I was already a student in the UK, I had my IELTS, I had my CBT, I was a hot cake.
Yeah.
Hospitals were rushing me.
Yeah. I can remember at the time. Yeah.
This
I
girl
can
is in the
imagine.
UK. We don't have to pay for flight tickets. We don't have to do anything. Just change her visa, switch from tier 4 to tier 2. So
Yeah.
Watford General was really, really quick because I applied to a lot of them. And I said, anyone that come through first, I will follow them. Because then I was just getting married. Because I also met my husband here in the UK. For those wondering whether there is husband in the
Yes,
UK,
yes,
there
yes.
is husband. I met my husband here in the UK. I didn't know him from Nigeria, so we got
Oh,
married
I
here in the UK. Yeah. So, for anyone wondering whether there are better men here in the UK, if you keep your eyes open, look really well, know what you are out to get, you will find someone nice. But then I digress. So, to come back to what we're talking about, I started with Watford General in 2016 June as a staff nurse. So they used to do it band 3 review, band 5, because you don't have a PIN yet. You are going through OSCE training on how you can pass and get your PIN. So by the time I was due to write my OSCE, I was already like 6 months pregnant. And the first time I also write it, I failed the implementation part. I gave paracetamol without checking the expiry date. So it happened that that medication was expired. So I failed on that one and I had to come back and write it again. The hospital, when they could rebook the test for me, I would have had my baby then. And I said to them, there's no way this Niger babe would come back and write this and after my baby. I'll go for 1 year maternity leave, come back and then start all over again. I said, it's not happening. I'll use my money, receipt the OSCE. When I pass it, you guys pay me back. And they said, yeah, they can do that. So I used my money to pay for my receipt and I passed it in October of 2016, and then I had my baby in January 2017.
wow.
So from there,
Wow.
that was
Wow.
how my registered nurse story in the UK started.
So you've been a
Yeah,
nurse since 2017,
since 2016 October.
2016. Let's say 2016.
Yes, that's
Wow.
when I got my pin. Yeah.
So in all, you've been in the UK for how long?
So from 2014 to now, how long is that? 9 years,
This is
8 years?
a long time. That's a long time. When did you get your British passport?
Okay, so the fact that I came into the UK in 2014 they didn't count that.
They won't count that.
My stay in the UK started counting in 2016 when my visa was switched from tier 4 to tier 2.
Yeah.
So from 2016 to 2021 was my 5 years, and then I got my ILR. I was on my ILR for 1 year because my husband is not British, so he's my dependent. So after my ILR, I applied for my ILR June of 2021. So by July of this year, I was due to apply for my naturalization. So 5 years on my tier 2 skilled worker visa, 1 year on my ILR, and then I applied for my naturalization, which came through on the last week of August of this year. So I went for my
Congratulations.
natural. Thank you. So I
How
went for
does it,
my British citizenship ceremony. Sorry.
how does it feel?
Well, it feels like when you've just finished from a night shift, you went to do an agency shift. Say for instance, you live in London and you went to do that shift in Luton, and it was really raining and the weather's been really bad and the train was being cancelled, and you finally make it home. That's what it feels like. Stepping into your house with all that stress, having a hot shower, that sense of homecoming, of knowing that this is it. Nobody's going to stress me again about paying for this visa, paying for that visa. Girl, do you know how much? Do you know, between myself, my husband, my two little boys, we have spent nothing less than £20,000 on visa processing alone. I know people that are still on their ILR. They don't want to apply for British citizenship. Why? Because it's so expensive.
How
You
much
need
did
to
you have to
plan.
pay for the
So
British passport?
for the British passport is cheap. It's £79 for an adult, £49 for children. The naturalization itself is £1,350 or thereabouts. Then to apply for the ILR itself is £2,338.
Is the ILR that's the expensive part. And I
ILR is
always,
expensive.
yeah, and I'm always crying for people with large family sizes that came around the same time. Because
Yes.
imagine if you're a family of five
Yeah.
and then you all reach that 5 year mark together
Yeah.
and then you
Yeah.
have to apply. You're looking
What
at
I would
way over.
say, what I would say to that is if you do have a large family and you are the main person in the UK and you don't have any plans of taking your family outside of the UK to maybe go to any European country, or if you want, even if you want to travel to your home country, say Ghana or Nigeria, and you have your country's passport, that's fine. But where the British passport will come into play is, say, for instance, you want to travel outside of the UK, or your children's school is going on an excursion, then you would need that kind of visa to cover for that trip. But if your kids are still little, like in my case, I did all of my visas on my own. I didn't include my children. The only time I applied for any visa for my children was naturalization. They did not do ILR with me.
Oh.
I didn't do ILR for them because I said to my husband, we're not going anywhere. I love traveling. I'm very, very much adventurous, even more than my husband, but I'm willing to wait until this comes through. So I did not include my children on any of my visa plan, and that saved us a lot of money. The first time
So,
I paid for them, yeah, go on.
so that means once you got your British passport and then you
Yes.
applied for.
So my children applied. The only time they've ever applied for anything in this country was this year, July, when I applied for all of our naturalization
Okay.
because
So
they
it doesn't,
needed to
they
have
don't
their
necessarily
British
have to have
citizenship.
done the ILR before they do the naturalization. They don't
Yeah, no, no,
necessarily.
no, 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 no. They don't have to. And this is
Okay.
the point. This is what people don't know. People think
Honestly,
that
I
at the
didn't
time
know
they are,
this.
yeah,
I didn't
people
know.
think that at the time they are applying for their ILR, their children have to apply as well. No, they don't.
You told me you were teaching. So
Yeah,
tell
yeah,
me,
yeah.
like, how are you teaching? Are you still practicing as a nurse and teaching as well, or how what are you doing exactly?
Okay, so currently I am a band seven registered nurse,
Wow.
and so I was a band five from the 2016. I got my pin to 2019. Let's just say I was in Watford to have my babies because I was on maternity leave back to back. So so by the
Oh my.
time but I had my first child in 2017, went back to work in December of 2017, and I went back to work pregnant again. So by the time I had the second baby, I hadn't had any time to work as a band five at all. So because we then moved from, we were living in London at the time. So we moved from London to where we stay at the moment. So from there, I had to join the hospital close to home. So that meant I left Watford General to then come to where I'm working at the moment. So because they saw that in my CV that I've done masters and everything, they wanted to offer me band six to start with. And I said, I've been having children since I got my pin as a nurse. I have no idea what I'm doing as a band five. Let me work as a band five first. So I'm gonna be kind of sharing tips as I go along. So at any point, stop me to ask any question. So
Okay.
the reason I told them I don't want that band six is because I felt I wasn't ready.
Yeah.
So it's very, very important for our sisters and brothers coming in from outside the country to kind of know what they are capable of. If you feel ready at any time, go for any role you want to and know that you will get it. But at that time, I didn't feel ready. I said I wanted to work as a band five. So I did that for 1 year. So in 2020, the COVID hit. So we were all rushing about trying to do the much we can. After that, in 2021, a position for band six came up. And the reason why I couldn't go for band six earlier was because I was doing more of nights to support family and childcare. So my husband does days and I do nights, and there wasn't a lot of band sixes for those that are doing nights. But then they made a very big review of how there are lots of people doing night shifts, and we don't have a lot of band six presence on the night shift, and there's a lot of things that can go wrong. So they need more leadership positions advertised for the night shift. That was how it's called. So a lot of us that were on the night shift, we all became like lots of band sixes that were covering nights. So I was a band six from April of 2021 to April of this year. And in all of that time, I identified my career progression towards teaching. So you can be a ward manager, you can teach, you can go to research, you can just continue doing bedside management, or you can even become a non-specialist, diabetes, stroke, or any of these things as you like. So my own baby was teaching. I really do love explaining things to people, and I would always volunteer. And we have lots of international nurses from India, from Nigeria, not a lot from Nigeria, one or two from Nigeria, because you can't use an agent to recruit nurses, as you know. But if you do apply on your own and you're lucky, you do get the job. So I would always come and volunteer to teach them and share my story with them, because I was also an internationally trained nurse. And so that put me on the spotlight with the education team. So
Okay.
when the role came out, I became aware and applied. And the role in my trust is being applied as rapid response. You know about rapid response. So these are the team of nurses that will come and assess patients when they're becoming really, really poorly in the hospital. So I don't know if you will use them in your care home, but it's a regular thing in the hospitals. So that role goes hand in hand with the practice education. And I did
Okay.
not want to do the rapid response because I felt like I'm just coming out from bedside nursing. I want to teach. So I told the people doing the interview, if you have anyone that have performed better than myself when it comes to the rapid response, give the person the role. I don't want it. So the job was 80% rapid response, and 20% teaching. So I didn't get the role at the time. Then 2 weeks later, they called me and said, now we have a role for teaching, and it's 80% teaching, 20% rapid. If you want the job is yours.
Okay.
And that was how I got into the teaching job I'm doing at the moment.
On a regular day, what exactly do you do?
Okay, so my position at the moment is preceptorship lead. So
Okay.
as a preceptorship lead, what I do is to lead the preceptorship program. And
Okay.
the program I run is for newly qualified professionals. Okay, so
Okay.
it's not just nurses. We do it as an interprofessional program where we have dietitians, physiotherapists, occupational therapists, ODPs from that works in the theater, and then nurses. So midwives have a midwifery based preceptorship program whereby after their program they automatically become band six professionals, because they have to go through, competency based skills on how to deliver babies, suture episiotomy, just function independently as a midwife. But for nurses, you can only become band six when you feel ready and then you apply for it. So
Okay.
I run officially 6 classes with each group. Currently, I have about 7 cohorts, and each cohort I have 30 people attending. So,
Wow.
and each group will attend like 6 of my classes. So we cover things like, introduction to preceptorship, why it's important for them to attend, all of the things that the fears they are facing having qualified as newly qualified professional. And again, I'm going to bring my overseas trained brothers and sisters into this talk, because what I find is people getting their pin and asking which agency pays the best rate.
That's
Yeah?
all. Okay.
To get what I mean? I mean, you will make the money. Don't get me wrong. If you are coming in with having in mind that as soon as I get my pin, I'm just going to join one good agency and be
Yes.
making my money, all of that is good. But preceptorship program gives you a soft landing spot. You find your feet. You know how to navigate everything within the NHS. If you're working in a particular organization, you understand their policy, you know how to speak up, you know how to look after yourself. Because the place I'm working, we are multicultural, multiracial, but you can go and work in certain northern parts where there are more. I don't want to say anything that will be offensive to anyone, but there are more higher in some ethnicity than the others. So there you become a lot of the minority groups, and they suffer a lot because of they are not counted a lot in numbers. So when you do something like a preceptorship program, it's like someone is giving you an armor and getting you ready to go into battle. You come in prepared. Even if you want to go and do agency, no one can push you about. You know your rights. You know the things that you can tolerate and the things you can't. You understand your scope of competencies. No one can make you do something that you don't feel comfortable because you have a pin. So these are all the things we cover in our program. Like today, I taught a session on making the transition from being a student to being a qualified professional. And 80% of what I'm teaching today is talking about scope of competencies, how to practice safely. Because there's a lot of staff shortages going on in the hospitals. And you have one nurse looking after like 20 patients, have one nurse looking after 10 patients. So even if that is the case, it doesn't mean that you should be, you know, putting yourself on the line, putting your pin in danger just so you can answer Nurse of the Year. You should still do the things that you know at the end of the day. You go home happy, knowing that your pin is safe and that you have done the best you can for your patient. It's 24 hours care. Anywhere you stop, another person is going to have to carry on. So that's basically what my teaching role is like. And then at the end of the preceptorship program, we run something called Beyond Preceptorship, where we then coach people on how to grow in the career, apply to become band sixes, go into research, or do any other thing that they really do like in their career. So
That's
it's
nice.
exciting. Yeah,
Nice.
it is
Yeah.
exciting. Yeah.
So what one advice would you give to like people watching us, for
Yeah.
those that are maybe just landing and
Yeah.
like just arriving from overseas,
Yeah.
Africa, Asia? What one
Yeah.
advice do you think we do really need, to
Okay.
make our whole journey smooth? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So what I tell a lot of my people around here is we need more people like us up there, right? We need more people that are part of the decision making process. You see this whole talk about NMC changing the English language, the exam and all of that. If we have someone that understands our story, that knows where we are coming from, part of that decision making process, things are going a lot more smoothly.
That's really true. I was watching this nurse. She's a midwife in the US, okay,
Yeah.
and she's like a senior midwife,
Yeah.
and I think she's the only black at that rank or something like that.
Yeah.
So there was a time that she came to work, and then she was saying that one of her white colleagues came to her and said that I think I need to fill a mental health or whatever form for this lady, this patient, and then she said why, and then she was like, she keeps hitting her head. I'm afraid she's gonna hit the baby. And then the black midwife was like, how is she doing it? So the black midwife peeped through the ward and saw the black lady with braids. And you know how Africans, when the braid is itchy, we do this. And then
That is
she's like,
funny.
no, she doesn't. Is that all she's doing? And then she said,
It's
yes, she
too
said, it's the
funny.
braids, it's itchy. So so she's like, really? She's like, yeah. Does she go like that all the time? Yeah, I do that all the time, like that, like
Yeah.
this. Like she's like, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly that.
Yeah.
She's like, you
Yeah.
see, we need people that understand us. They are going to fill a mental health form or whatever form that this woman is, because they don't
Absolutely.
understand. They just don't know.
Absolutely.
So it's perfect.
Absolutely.
What you're
Yeah.
saying, yeah, yeah, you're
Yeah.
right.
Because you when you do come in and you have friends that, let's say, they are doing 18 hours, of course you cannot do 18 hours when you are still on contract. Your contract might be 37.5 hours per week. But depending on the kind of shift you do, you definitely have enough time to do your agency. Now, my advice is when you do come into the UK and you become successful, you get your PIN after writing your OSCE, do not put all your emphasis on just going off to get your start making money with agency. Focus on understanding how you can really, really have a smooth landing in the profession. Okay. The NHS is such that no matter how high you want to go, no matter how high you want to go in this profession, you can do it. And I had people look at me and tell me, are you mad? Speaking our Nigerian, what thing they do you say? You won't go apply for banking. No say they know who will get the job. Don't even try and don't even try to go there. Look at see now only Oyibo people now they get the job. Oh. Every black person where they apply, they don't they give the person the job at all. Don't even try them. Look, and I'm
But
like
you are
this.
here. Yeah.
And I'm like this. I'm looking at this young lady. She told me, I'm not even going to apply. I don't even want to trust myself. I went from being a band 5 to being a band 7 in 2 years. And this is solely because I knew what I wanted out of this profession. I still have enough time to do my agency if I want. I still pack money on the side and do some extra shifts. But at the same time, I feel like if I'm doing it better, I'm in a very good position to make sure that those that are coming in will look at me and know that it is possible. It is not everyone who just wants to come into this profession, make money. Some are career minded. And I see myself as a career minded person, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. If you are so vested in making a change, in improving other people's life, in showing people that no matter how high they want to go, there is a road they can take. And I feel like my life is that story because when I stand in and teach in my preceptorship program and I have people of my color in my class, they look at me as if this person is standing here, there isn't anything I can't achieve. And that's my job accomplished. Mission accomplished for me. There is nothing else. My life, my position is a story because my uniform, there are more people, more British people, more white people in my kind of uniform. And when I wear my uniform, I look out of place. They're like, who is that one? Right? And I'm proudly introducing myself. I'm this person and I work in this area and this is why I'm here. Yeah, peace out to you. So I wear my career progression with pride because I knew that I couldn't be talked out of what I wanted. If they say this is the height, you can't go past that. I was just gonna use some naughty swear word, but I caught myself in time. But that really makes me upset. Okay. When I got ready to apply for my band six, I told my matron, I'm ready to take my career forward. She emailed the then deputy chief of nursing. And this is someone that on a very good day, you wouldn't think of going to meet her. And I scheduled an appointment with that lady. I think that the conversation I had with that woman, she's now the deputy director of NMC. Check her out. Her name is Samantha Donohue.
Wow.
She's now the deputy director of NMC. So if I decide that I want to leave the nursing completely, I want to go and work with the NMC, I have somebody in there. I can call a mentor. I can call and say, how do I get into this place? And I'm very sure that they will show me the way. They will show me what I needed to do, right? So I had this meeting with this lady, and we had a lovely conversation. She taught me a lot that day. A lot of the reasons why I decided that, you know what, there's nobody holding me. I'm the one holding myself. So if you come in from Nigeria, you're coming from Ghana, you're coming from India, wherever you are watching us from and you want to come into the UK, when you come in, decide for yourself what you want. If you want to stay as a band five and make your money, there is nothing wrong with that. But if you are the kind of person that loves career progression, this is me telling you that whatever you want in this career is very, very much achievable. There will be people trying to talk you out of what you know is good for you. If you listen to them, you lose. You listen to people, naysayers, you lose. They will project their fear on you. They will project their own limitations on you. You don't have to have those limitations. You know what you are capable of. Okay. And I'm doing things that people are asking me every day. How do you survive in an environment filled with these people? And I'm like, I'm in my own world. When I'm doing my thing, I am in my own world. I am an expertise. I know what I'm doing. I study for it. You're asking me questions. I'm giving you the right answers. And the kind of feedbacks I get, right, from when I finish my sessions tells me that I'm doing my job 100% accurately. There is also room for growth, okay? I do receive negative feedbacks and I build on that. If there is something I haven't done properly, I give myself the grace of saying, I don't know everything. I'm willing to go and learn, and there's an opportunity for me to learn. And that's what, I want everyone to understand, that no matter where you are, whether you just got your PIN, you are still undergoing your OSCE program to pass your PIN, whatever you want to achieve, as long as working in the NHS is concerned, it's highly, highly achievable.
When I grow up, I want to be like you.
You're already like me.
Wow.
You're already like me,
Well,
Danielle. You are doing an amazing job
no,
here
no,
on
no, no. I'll
YouTube.
be like you. I'll be
I
like
really
you.
will clap for you. You are doing amazing. Well done. Well done, girl. Well, I don't know how you do it. Combining work and family. Listen, the last time I posted anything on my YouTube page was like two months ago. I can't find the time. I'm trying, but it's difficult for me to find the time.
So if people want to reach you, how do they reach you?
On Instagram, I am Diva Lillian 2 and Diva Lillian 2, like two, like that. And then on YouTube, I'm trying to stay consistent, but it's been a lot going on for me. And just today, I got a call that my mom's visa to come visit me in the UK has finally been granted. 4 times denied. 4 times denied. Every single time I apply, they say no. We haven't proved that when she comes to the UK, she's going to go back to Nigeria. She's young. She was once a nurse. If she comes back here, she's going to stay here and start working. Like, she has a husband. She's got grandkids. What is she doing here in the UK? She will. I promise you, she will go back. Nope. But today she's got it.
Wow.
So I'm gonna be flying her to the UK for Christmas. Fingers crossed.
Wow. I'll leave all your handles and then your social media on the screen. If somebody wants to reach you, I'm sure that people that are here and are struggling at their current place of work might want to get somebody like me to speak with, So I'll just put it there. And we hope you become consistent on YouTube so you can give all the valuable information.
I will try.
Yeah, thank you so much.
No
and then when your mommy comes, tell her we said hi.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you. Take care of yourself.
Bye.
Bye, love. Bye.
I see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel.